exercises to help give you some tools for your toolbox so that when you go to write your essays, you can reach into these toolbox, pull them out, and hopefully begin to construct a nice essay that'll help you get what it is that you're looking for, whether that's getting into college or getting into scholarships. So our first exercise is an objects exercise. This is probably, I would argue this is probably like my favorite one, only because we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of the essentials. And I think this will really give you that broader structure of being able to pull from topics to be able to write your essay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to imagine a box, and in this box there's a set of objects. I want you to imagine that each one is one of your essence objects. And what do I mean by essence? It's a part of you, it's a necessity, it's something that's at your core, it's something that you truly need, value, appreciate, things like that. So each object is going to represent one of your fundamental qualities. So each object is more than just an object. For example, in my essence objects box, I would place a purple pen. Here's why I would place a purple pen. Now, you may not know this about me, but I taught for 8 years before I became a school counselor. And the reason that I say a purple pen is because as a teacher, it became important to me to use this. For example, when we turn in work and we get something wrong, typically, what color do they use to mark our stuff wrong? They use red, right? And so we associate red with stop. We associate red with danger. So when we get that back and we see that red in our papers, it does something subconsciously to us where we think, oh man, I really messed up, I jacked this up, something may be wrong with me, you know? So because I'm a counselor, I tend to think like really crazy. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna use purple. And the reason that I use purple with my students is I wanted them to develop an attitude of, I didn't get this wrong, but how can I go from good to great? So when students were turning to me a writing essay or a writing assignment, I would use purple. And I would use purple not to say, oh, you got this wrong. I would use purple and communicate to them, listen, you've already done most of the work by getting what is in here onto paper. And I want to take this idea that you have here that's a little undeveloped, and I want it to go from good to great. So I want to point this out to you and give you some suggestions, and I want you to take that back and really think on that, and let's see how we can enhance that part of your writing assignment. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So I typically won't mark up people's papers with red. I'll use purple. I'll use green. Green means what? Go, right? Go, right? So I will use other colors just because, you know, in education we typically associate red with being wrong, danger, stopping, things like that. So I use other colors. That's just one of the things that I'll put in there because that's just really what I believe in. Another thing I will put in is probably my Bible. I'm an elder at my church, and that means a lot to me. It's brought me a long way, so I'll keep that in there. That's just a part of who I am, my core, my value. I have this really great picture of me and my family. If you look around my office, you can see pictures of my wife and my kids. They're really important to me, so I'll probably have that in my essence in my box. Another thing I would probably have in there is my cell phone. I'm not gonna lie. There's so much that goes on my cell phone, pictures I take, games that I play, notes that I take. Man, my notebook has so many different topics in there of things that just jump out at me, and I keep them organized in there. I have my menus for cooking in there, recipes and stuff, so I'll probably put my cell phone on there. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
These things are really a part of me, my everyday life. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be working on your essence box. So what I want you to do is I'm going to give you roughly about 5-10 minutes. And I want you to make a list of 20 objects. That may seem like a lot. I don't want you to complain. You are infinitely complex and creative and can come up with 1,000. I'm just asking for 20. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah? So I don't want you, don't write what the objects mean to you as what I just explained to you. I want you to write the objects. So my list would begin like this. I would use a purple precise B5 extra fine rolling ball pen, a worn down Bible because I've been in and out of it, my phone with all of its scratches and stuff. You get the idea?
Yeah.
I just want you to write the objects with a couple of details to describe each one. So no commentary needed. You don't have to write a paragraph about each one. We're just kind of being specific about what it is. If it helps, I'll put on some music while you're doing this. And then up here on the screen, I have some questions. Just if you get stuck. Like if you can write them down, you can come up with some, and then you're like, oh, I'm kind of stuck. These are just some questions that maybe will pull out some essential objects for you. Cool? All right, let's go ahead and start writing now. I'll get the music ready. When the music stops, that means that our lesson for this part is over.